have it all. I can have it all.
Hello, everybody. This is Christy Whitman with the Quantum Success Show, where you can get your information and inspiration to create your desires. And as you can see, I have a friend. This is Baeth Davis, and I had the pleasure of working personally with Baeth many years ago, and I was very, very astonished by what was revealed in my hands. So she is known as the Palm Pilot for the soul of your business and the Intuitive Business Catalyst. Baeth is a secret sage to global leaders, including spiritual teachers like myself, healers, artists, celebrities, scientists, and even entrepreneurs. So using her intuition and extensive shamanic experience, 18 years in the business, and expertise in scientific hand analysis, she helps you to unleash your life purpose so you can get paid for your passions and be, as Gandhi said, the change you wish to see in the world. She has recently been asked to be on an advisory board of the Unstoppable Foundation, which I absolutely love and support, and I love Cynthia Kersey, and is committed to bringing the consciousness of life purpose to the creative entrepreneurs globally. And she is as a featured in Woman's World, Cosmo, LA Times, as well as heard on NPR, KPFK in Los Angeles, Radio Europe, and the BBC's Five. Baeth is devoted to helping you unleash your life purpose and uncover the number one thing that's been holding you back from achieving it. So we are talking about 3 ways to drop the mask and get paid for your intuitive gifts. So welcome, Baeth.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
I was just delighted that we were on the dance floor at the Unstoppable Gala, and all of a sudden we both saw each other at the same time. We got all excited, and we said, we have to do an interview. So I'm glad that manifested.
Yes, me too. I'm very honored. I know you're very busy and very much in demand, and it is a pleasure to be here.
Oh, thank you. I'm thrilled to have you.
Yeah.
So what is hand analysis? I know you did it to me, and the first time I
What
heard
is hand analysis?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
and welcome, everyone. I was saying to Christy before, welcome from my barren office that I just moved into. So the next time you see me, I hope there's some red poppies. Hand analysis. So your hands are essentially, a structural tool that communicates with the brain so that the impulses in your brain can then be translated into your everyday reality. That's what our hands help us do. They help us shape and mold and control our world. The type of hand shape you have, the lines in the hands, the fingerprint patterns, all reveal your specific soul blueprint. Some people call it your GPS, your design, but essentially the hands are a wonderful map of the brain. So scientific hand analysis takes the best of the ancient palmistry and has updated it empirically through scientific experimentation, meaning hundreds of thousands of pairs of hands have been read. A marking in your hand, should I have it in my hand, will mean the same thing. The database itself has about 300 plus particular markings. Most people don't have all the markings. They have a combination of the markings. And that combination of markings tells a story. You, of course, are much larger than your hands. No blueprint or chart or design can replace the soul. As the saying goes, the map is not the territory. You're the map. You're the territory. Your hands are the map. We are larger than our map, obviously. We can transcend the map. However, I have found that there is no better map than the one in the hands, and it gives people very clear and concise guidance to where they want to go, as well as what is causing them suffering, what is causing them delay, what's causing them to feel stagnant or bored or creatively apathetic. The hands will reveal both the master path, as we call it, we hand analysts call it. The master path feels good, and the student path feels yucky. And every marking in the hand has a master and student path. The goal, of course, is to stay as much as possible on the master path, and yet it's impossible to stay there all the time because life is unpredictable. And even if we're doing our best internally to stay calm, to nourish ourselves, to surround ourselves by positivity, life does what it does. And it throws us unexpected events and unexpected feelings and unexpected successes as well as failures. And all of these things create this kind of tightrope walk, right? So it's not that we're never going to fall off. We just have to get back on. And the key and the trick to staying on the tightrope, of course, is balance. That word that is used so much that it's become somewhat cliche, and yet balance is not a static state. Balance is hugely dynamic. And if you're watching a circus performer walking a tightrope, that's our life. You know?
Yeah.
That's the kind of balance I'm talking about, right? Is like you're constantly adjusting. Or if you were, even sitting, sometimes I sit on a bouncy ball at my desk, right? And when I first started sitting on it, it was very awkward. But now I can like sit and move and dance and stretch on that thing all day long. And I'm balancing and I'm moving. So
Yes.
your hands show you how to stay in motion even when you're still. There's a life force that wants to move through us. So I'm really keen on helping humans get going with what's most important to them and really release what's irrelevant, because so much of what people think about and talk about and spend their time on is actually irrelevant to the life they're here to live.
Well, I remember 9 years. It was about 9 years now. You did my
Yeah.
analysis, and there were several things, many things actually, that I took out of it. But one of them was that I'm a teacher and also a student of the same thing, and that is the whole concept of knowing I'm enough.
Yes.
And that has been, I mean, as long as I've been in personal growth for 20 years, that has been like the spiral that I hit and hit and hit, and I hit it at a different level. And yet that's what I teach, from the place of lack and limitation to abundance. And I teach, about enoughness.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just,
Yes, I see your book in the background.
That's true.
Tell everyone about your book. It's the art of having it all, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. I mean, it's really neat though, isn't it? Because what we're here to learn is what we're here to teach. So for example, there is a life lesson called Mr. Ms. Not Enough, or the self-worth lesson that you're describing. It's in the fingerprints. It's an actual lesson. And the person like yourself that's dealing with that is constantly coming up against, did I do enough? Did I say enough? Did I deliver enough? Am I enough?
Yeah.
And it could be on any topic.
Yes.
Am I lovable? Am I attractive enough? Whatever.
Yeah.
And so the fact that you wrote a book about enoughness is the master path. Because I like to say our blind spot is our secret spice. It's our secret spice. It's also the same wound or blind spot that our target market or tribe has. So you will attract people who are highly talented and yet feel they're not enough. So you're likely to get perpetual students, overachievers, or the extreme, people that have been afraid to try anything because it hasn't worked for them yet.
Right. It's amazing.
So, it's amazing.
See, because taking that, it's like, how do you use handle analysis in business?
Well, in business, this is where it gets really fun. So first of all, just a teeny bit about me. In my own hands, my life purpose is a passionate business owner, spiritual teacher, and role model, which is an interesting purpose. And I at least once a week, people will say to me, you're my role model. In fact, my daughter the other day was giving me this analogy about her mom, her grandma, and me as women, and like the way we dealt with life. And she said, you're a role model because you don't need other people to fill you up. Like, you're very happy going along with what you're doing, and your sense of yourself isn't dependent on, say, the status of your romantic relationship or whether you're in or out with your friends. It used to be, but I thought that's odd. So once I guess it's not odd because it's in my hands. So once I became aware of it, I started hearing it. And I thought to myself, I wonder how much of my life people were telling me I was a role model to them, and I wasn't hearing it.
Right.
And it's not something you would brag about, right? Like, oh, hey, I'm a role model. It just sounds arrogant. My life purpose is to essentially inspire spiritual teachers to get paid for their passions. And that's been my tagline 15 years.
Yeah.
Helping spiritual teachers, intuitives, coaches get paid for their passions. Now, there's a lot of people out there who teach business coaching, which is great. Everyone needs a business coach. And there's a lot of opportunity to learn how to be a coach. You help people train to be a coach, and I highly recommend your class. All those watching who have taken her class, great. You haven't taken her class, you need to take her class. Training, excuse me. So when I learned that this was my purpose, I didn't even have a business. And I started several businesses and they didn't work out. And then I got into this path of reading hands and then coaching the client to monetize their purpose. And I was doing this almost subconsciously. Yes, I'd had my hands read. I think it went in very deep because it was in the blueprint. So what the hands show is essentially the structure of business, and it's in the chakra system, which is mapped out in the hands. So your body, probably most people here are familiar with the chakras, but anyway, it starts with the root, right, the base of your spine, and then works its way up. We get the heart, the throat, third eye, crown, and then your aura. I call that like the 8th chakra because our auras extend out about 15 feet, and the strongest energy is about 2 meters. So if you really want to detach from other people's energy, you need about 6 feet between you. Understanding this about the chakras, when I was learning hand analysis, I found out also that they're mapped out in the hand. So for example, the lifeline, which typically encircles the mound of Mars and the mound of Venus, it's that famous line that curves around those 2 mounds, not an indicator of the length of your life. It is, however, a map of your root chakra in your hands. So this represents the base of my spine down to my feet.
Wow.
So the quality of someone's lifeline tells me physically their capacity to be grounded, to be focused, to follow a routine, to get where they need to go or not, their ability to finish tasks or not, how much they start or not. And from an everyday perspective, it will tell me about the person's family life, their tribe. So the root chakra is about tribe. So one of the ways that I have grown my business, and I actually developed my own little system for myself many, many years ago to grow my business, was to understand that each of the chakras in the body are mapped out in the hands. And each of these chakras is like a required level to grow your business. And if any one of them is spinning the wrong direction or stuck, right, as they say, people say, oh, your chakras are stuck. Well, I don't even know how that works. I believe they probably do get stuck. I think of it in a very abstract way, but these energy centers are either alive or stagnating. And you know by looking at your life. So let's say your heart chakra was stagnating. Well, you might have heart palpitations, chest problems, breast problems, lung issues, upper back problems. That would be the physical set of symptoms. But in your everyday life, there would be a lack of joy, a lack of nurturing, a lack of interest or passion in what it is you came here to do. Because business is part of my life purpose from my hands, I have used the chakra data to create a business planning system.
Cool.
Right? So when I'm working with a client, we can look at their lifeline and figure out what's happening with their family as well as their tribe.
That's awesome.
Right? What's happening in that part of your life? Is there a real foundation there? Because we will struggle financially if we're not able to root and anchor. And people really struggle. We know how much people struggle if they don't have family support. Many of us take for granted that support, particularly in the West, but if you grew up like in the Congo of Africa, it's not like you got an allowance when you were a kid. Nobody has any money, really. So that strength from the tribe is really important. Of course, those kids got other things. I think of music and prayer, and so as long as there's a sense of safety and security at the foundation, we can then move up the levels.
Good question. It seems like there's a lot of spiritual or intuitive women that have problems in business. Why is that?
Well, that comes back to the mask. Myself and my team have been researching this for about 18 months to really drill down to what is going on with the communities that you and I interact with. Like what's really the block? And I realized it wasn't about money per se, because most of our clients can make money. They know how to go get a job. They've had a job. They have a job. Maybe they're retired. So then we started thinking deeper. So yeah, everybody wants more money. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, money's important. But that's not the real issue. What is the real issue? And what we found was that, and men too, but spiritually oriented men and women who are highly, highly intuitive. So let's say they can read auras, or they have very strong psychic ability. They're very good coaches because they can kind of anticipate what their client's about to say, or they have a energetic sense of what that person's actually going through. They might be an empath and even feel it in their own body. Right? So there's many, many different ways the intuitive works. Now, the intuition is actually from the gut, and it's not emotional at all. Emotions from the solar plexus. But anyway, intuition, emotional awareness, psychic awareness from up here, overall resonance. Some people can taste or smell truth or untruth. So these people with what we would call spiritual or intuitive gifts, if we just put it under that umbrella, they can get paid doing something. But what they bump up against is actually getting paid for the thing they most want to do and the thing that they most enjoy, which is using their spiritual gifts. So they have a mask on that says, well, I'm not that woo, or, ooh, I don't talk about that with my family, or my friends don't know I'm a law of attraction coach and I just trained with Christy. My family doesn't know I read tarot cards, right? My family doesn't know I'm going to India on a spiritual quest for 3 months. And so that's the mask. The mask is I show myself as one way to the world so that I receive acceptance, love. I don't rock the boat. I don't have drama. I don't have the hassle of showing who I really am, and then seeing my life change.
Wow.
So that's what we came down. It was, isn't that profound? It's like, it's not really about, we all know how to make money in the West. I've never met a person that didn't know where money came from or how you get money. You work. So when people tell me I can't find money, I'm like, oh, you're not going to like what I'm going to say to you, but it's right out there for you to have. You might not enjoy how you have to go get it for a while, but it's there. But I don't think it should be that way either. I don't believe that it's necessary to suffer for prosperity, to have money in your bank account. You can be paid, right? We both teach this. You can be paid abundantly for what you most love to do. However, there's a transition phase. And the longer that mask has been on, the more stuck it is. It kind of needs to be pried off, and it's painful. Yeah. The skin's a little raw under there. There's some rough patches because you've been wearing it so much. So that's what we've determined. And I've interviewed now, I don't know how many women in the community, asking them about this, and just in conversation. Like, for example, one of my clients, she is a high-level executive in a corporation. And she's studying hand analysis with us. And she's very talented at it. Like, she's very good at learning the data. She's also very good at counseling people. She has both those skills, right? She's got the data skill and the counseling skill. And I said to her, hey, let's call her Sally. That's not her name. I said, hey, Sally, how come you don't have an exit plan from this job? I mean, it's not like you need the money. You're probably vested, right? She's like, yeah. I'm like, what are you waiting for? I said, you're already getting clients for hand readings. What's going on? And she said, I'm afraid of what people will think of me. Mm. It was like, she's like, I knew that, but to say it out loud, I'm really afraid of being ostracized. I'm really concerned they might think less of me because I'm very established here and I have a lot of credibility. And I don't want to be seen as a kook. So that's really what I'm seeing a lot in my community, your community, a lot of other men and women, business owners like ourselves that provide trainings and provide education for spiritual teachers and coaches and intuitives. This is the most common issue I see, because when I really drill down to it, I'm like, people come up with the money for whatever they want.
Right.
They do.
Right.
They do, somehow they do.
Yeah.
So what's really the holdback? And it's, I don't want to be persecuted. Thank you very much. And so I'm just going to wear this mask, and it's worked really well up to this point. And then it doesn't.
Wow.
And then it doesn't work.
Wow.
What's that?
That's amazing, because I've known several people as coaches that were afraid to really go full time in their coaching because of the same thing, you know. And the brave ones, I know there's one woman that I just adore. I'm not going to say her name, but she was a lawyer, and she went through that with like her mom being so disappointed because you know her mom wanted to be a lawyer, and so she was so proud of her. She became a lawyer.
Right.
When she quit to become a coach, it was like, what are you doing? Are you nuts? You know? So, yeah.
Mom, why don't you hire me, and I'm going to coach you on how you can go back to law school. You know, my mom actually hired me as a coach. I think I charged her $3,000. I'm like, all right, for $3,000. And I said, I'll give you double the time because you raised me and you put up with me when I was a teenager. So I'm going to give you a family deal. And she did her whole, it was amazing. My mom was a nurse in the hospital, and then she was a public school nurse, and then she learned Reiki. Oh, cool. And then she became a Reiki master, and she wanted to build her Reiki business, so she wanted some help with the copy. And I was so inspired by that. But I asked her too, I said, what? I said, it's great you hired me, and that's fun, but what took you so long? And she says, Beth, are you kidding? Like, I was too embarrassed. Like, what would people have thought of me? She's like, now I don't give a crap what they think of me. But, you know, she's 75. She really doesn't care. But she said up until age 50, it seemed so important that I do what was expected of me, and I toe the line. And she says, now I found out that was all bunk, and I didn't have to waste any energy on that.
Absolutely.
What a revelation.
What a freedom. Oh my gosh.
So freeing.
Yeah.
So freeing.
Absolutely. Well, you have a free gift for everybody, which I completely appreciate that you're coming here to the community giving a free gift. So do you want to share what that gift is?
I do. I'm very proud of this gift. And I wrote it, the whole thing myself. I had my copywriter look at it, but he didn't have many edits. So I was really happy. It's called 3 Ways to Drop the Mask and Get Paid for Your Intuitive Gifts. And in this report, I sort of set up the problem of what it costs us to not get paid for what we're most talented at. And then I have 3 case studies of actual people I've worked with. I just changed the names and attending details and asked them, can I use your story? And they said, sure, about how they were using the mask to control and manage their lives. Because it's really a fundamentally a control issue that is created from fear. But the way the fear manifests differs. And these 3 women, to me, are perfect examples of those 3 top ways that we hide behind the mask, right? So one of them that I talk about is, what is the cost of seeking approval? Right? What is the cost of having low self-worth and undercharging? And the third one, which is most interesting, is I'm too powerful. I'm too much. I'm too much for people. They can't handle me. I'm always being told to tone it down and keep it to myself, and they can't handle it. So it's sort of the opposite of the low self-worth. Self-worth isn't really an issue there. It's more about, I don't want to harm people with my power. So those are the 3 problems that primarily keep the mask on. And then at the end of the report, I give very practical strategies for how you can take the mask off, because most people will identify strongly with one of those 3 ways and maybe have a side dish of one of the other ways of keeping the mask on. So that's what the report is about. And I strongly urge people to have a look. And if they enjoy the report, we then have some video tutorials that follow once they get the report. And
Awesome. So
Yes.
everybody go below the video. We'll have a link. There's a link right there. And you can partake in Beth's amazing gift. And I'm looking forward to downloading it and reading it myself, since I, train certified coaches. I want to know what the drawbacks would be and when people put on their mask too, and see also, I'm always doing my own inner work. Where do I fall into that as well? So please let me know what you're taking away from this conversation with Beth today. Go download the free gift and let's continue the conversation. Tell me what you're taking away, what hit you, what did you learn, and have an amazing week. Beth, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Always enjoy our interactions and appreciate you being here and gifting everybody in the family, which I like to call my family, this beautiful gift. So thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Awesome. Have a great day, everybody.
You too.
Bye.
So, and the heart is that midpoint between the lower chakras, which have to do with real materiality. And then, sorry about that. Shh, shh, shh. Hey. Quiet. Hey.
Why does he have a cone on him?
Hi, everyone. This is Annie, the dog with the cone on her head because she had to have surgery. I'm just going to let her out. I think she wants to run outside. See, this is real life. This is the example of the lower three chakras. This is family. She needs to go to the bathroom. It's interrupting our interview.
I feel like I want to have a martini now, seeing her with the little cone.
Right? We call her funnel because it's like, when people are always building their online funnels. It's like a funnel on her head because my daughter said, it doesn't really look like a cone. What does it look like? I said, it's a funnel because we were calling her cone head. And then we were like having this physics debate about geometry debate about that. Anyway.
All I know is I want a martini now, but
we need a martini.
Thanks for watching, and here is a related video to watch right now. Also, check out my free webinars on creating whatever you want in your life using the universal laws that I explain in each webinar. So share your thoughts by leaving a comment and continue the conversation at ChristyWhitman.com.